Okay, great. So I trust you can all see that. Great. Oh, okay. So often when I start teaching these meditations, so there's all sorts of different types of Qigong. And the type of Qigong that I teach is called inner alchemy Qigong. So Qi means energy, and Gong just means practice. So it's energy practice. Um, and it's a practice which originated in ancient China in the Taoist tradition. And inner alchemy Qigong is all about going inside, so turning your attention inwardly. So we start with a beautiful practice called the inner smile. So this is Mantak Chia himself, yeah? And he has these amazing illustrations with the organs and with a lovely smile. So that really communicates the energy. So we're turning our attention inwardly and we learn to connect with the organs. So smiling inwardly in this way, especially if we practice it over time, can really bring the healing energy to the body. So obviously most of the time our attention is turned outwardly into the world, into the stresses, into what's not going right or what is going right. You know, we tend to have our awareness pulled outside, and then we forget that we have a body, we have the organs, which is our life, which sustains our life. When we learn to connect with the inner body and the energy of the organs, we can actually grow our energy. We cultivate our energy. This is what we're learning to do with the inner smile. Then we have more and better energy to contribute to the world, and to our relationships, to our work. So the first stage is to smile into the eyes. So we can often hold a lot of stress in the eyes and in the face. And just to lift up the corners of the mouth. So that's the first stage, is to relax the face, relax the eyes. And then know, whenever we do the practice, when we turn our attention inwardly, the rule is always, wherever your attention goes, the chi, your energy, follows. So it's the same rule that applies in life as well. So whenever you're doing an activity, say you're doing some writing, for example, what you're doing is you're putting your energy, your attention into that writing. So then we accomplish the task. So what we're doing here is actually inverting that. So we're turning our attention inwardly. So where our attention goes, the energy follows. So we learn to connect with the organs. And we know when you're smiling, the whole world smiles with you. And this is what we're doing into the inner body. We're creating a harmonious inner environment. We actually want to promote a certain kind of climate change, you could say, where the inner climate of the body is a harmonious one. So often, actually, the organs cannot communicate with each other optimally. And so in this practice, we're promoting that this flow of energy. So yeah, you can see these pictures here, just of a sad face and a happy face. So just think about the differing ways that these images make you feel. So the sad, stressed, angry face is very closed down. So it has an effect on the energy, you know, it closes down the energy. It means that your chi, your life force, cannot flow through the organs properly. And then in the Taoist system, in an ancient Chinese medicine, the root of all disease and illness is actually a blockage on the energetic level. So if the blood and the energy can't flow through the organs properly, then that's the start of disease. So it's so important to learn to relax the body. And we do this first with the inner smile. So then you can see the image on the other side, nice, happy, open face. You can tell this person is relaxed. And as a result, then the body's going to be relaxed. So the smile sends a message to the brain, actually. So I always like to just compare these two modes of the nervous system, which is connected to the brain. So there's the parasympathetic system, which is the relaxed response of the body. As you can see, so we call this rest and digest response, or feed and breed. So the organs are allowed to relax, and it's in this state that we can actually start to heal the body. In sympathetic mode, which is the stress response, so we call this the fight and flight. So this used to have a function if we had a predator. Most of the time now we don't have an actual literal predator, or we don't literally need to be engaged in a fight, but actually it's a stress response. So this fight or flight can be triggered by stress, by anxiety, or the freeze and dissociate. So you can see all the different functions, or all the different effects this has on the organs. Okay. And we use the smiling sunshine. So sunshine, smiling sunshine is the light of your awareness. So when you smile gently into the eyes, lift up the corners of the mouth, and this is the smiling sunshine. It's the light of our awareness, which we can then project down into the organs, into the body. And then we say the power of the sunlight, the power of our awareness, has the power to dissolve the stress, the stagnation, the energetic blockage in the body. So in this metaphor, it's the ice, which is the blocked energy which can't move, can be stuck trauma, which is unacknowledged in the body. And the light of this consciousness shining, so the sunlight shines onto the ice, it melts into water, so it starts to move. And then you keep smiling this sunshine, this radiance, and it turns into gas. So this is chi, energy, which can start to move through the body. So when we start to have the energy moving, then this is really a healing process and a very energizing process. So we don't treat these areas of blockage or stagnation as something dirty, but actually it's raw energy, which is just stuck, it's not moving. So it's raw life force, which is trapped. And when we start to free it up, then we can start to feel more energy, more abundance in our life. Okay. So we have 3 lines in the inner smile. We have the back line, where we smile first into the brain and then the spinal cord. Have the front line, which is our major organs, and the middle line, which is the digestion organs, which I'll take you through. So we start in the spine, which we'll come on to. That's just a diagram of the spine for you there. It always helps if you can visualize what you're smiling into. So we tend to divide the spine into the 7 cervical, 12 thoracic, 5 lumbar, and then the sacrum, the coccyx at the base. And then in the Taoist system, so we have the 5 elements. These 5 elements correspond with the major organs in the body. So we have the fire element, which is the heart. So in the heart, we store love, joy, and happiness. So we want to cultivate these emotions in the heart, these virtues. And then the fire, it burns into ashes, we say, and feeds the earth energy. So the earth is the spleen, stomach, and pancreas. So we learn to smile into the spleen, stomach, pancreas, and we're cultivating fairness, openness, and trust. Then the earth element then feeds the metal element, which you find in the lungs, also paired with the large intestine. But we'll be focusing on the lungs today. And we're nourishing the lungs and creating more courage and righteousness and integrity. So all of these listed here, these are the positive virtues of the organs. We also have negative qualities too. So then the metal element that feeds the water element. This is the kidneys and the bladder. And in the kidneys, we're trying to cultivate more gentleness, calmness, and peace. And then the water finally feeds the wood. The wood element is the liver and the gallbladder. And we store kindness and generosity in this organ. And then, so it's a creation cycle. So we smile to the organs in this order, and the energy of the organs feeds each other, and we create more energy, and we allow the organs to communicate with each other optimally. So we're affecting our inner climate, which is it's a harmonious climate. And sometimes it requires us to recognize that we have a inner climate which is not harmonious, in order to effect a change. Maybe this is the process that we're going through globally at the moment on all sorts of levels. So I'll leave that up to you to interpret. So as I said, the organs also have the negative qualities associated with them. So we want to find a balance in the organs. So it's actually in the Tao, it's about finding a balance between yin and yang. So we want to make sure that we don't have excessive emotions on one side or the other. We want to create inner harmony and peace and balance. So just quickly to go through these. So the fire element in the heart, we associate with hate, cruelty, and patience. The earth, worry, anxiety, mistrust. So we all know that sensation in the stomach when it contracts, when we feel anxious, when we have those butterflies, and it can affect our stomach. And then in the lungs, we store sadness, depression, and grief. And that can also correspond a lot of the time. If you're feeling sad, you can have a crumpled chest, and the grief can really affect your breathing. So grief, sadness, depression is stored in the lungs. When we cultivate courage, righteousness, then we have an expanded, open chest where we breathe fully, deeply into the lungs. And then the water, negative emotions in the kidneys is fear and phobia. And then the liver, the wood element, we can store a lot of stress, anger, frustration, jealousy. Okay. So that's like a kind of a crash course in the 5 elements and the organs. So now we'll do the actual practice. I think that's it. Yeah, so we start smiling into the heart. This is the first stage. And we know there's been a lot of scientific discoveries about the electromagnetic field of the heart. So the heart has the strongest electromagnetic field, which can affect the environment around us and bring us into coherence. So there's a lot of talk now about heart-brain coherence. And when we have a relaxed, happy heart, actually, this electromagnetic field around us can grow stronger. So we can actually have the power to radiate this love, joy, and happiness around us. So we create not only a harmonious inner environment, The heart is actually the leader. In the Tao, it's known as the emperor. So we need to return control to the intelligence of the heart. So it not only creates this harmonious inner environment, but also in the outer environment as well. So in our ones. Okay. Yeah, so let's start the practice. Very simple practice. So we can stay seated for the whole thing. Okay. Great. So hope you can hear me okay. So just lift up the corners of the mouth, smile into the eyes, and relax the eyes. So close the eyes and you can picture the image of a loved one with their happy, radiant face. And just absorb this beautiful, happy, smiling energy into the brain. And feel that you can actually breathe in through the forehead and the mid-eyebrow. So inhale into the brain, and you can see a golden light, beautiful golden light. And this golden light then trickles down the spine. So it's important to have a really relaxed spine. This is the central nervous system. So when we have a relaxed nervous system, then the whole body can start to go into this relaxed parasympathetic state. So smile into the spine. And the more you practice, the more you learn to really make the connection. And we'll do a simple exercise called the crane neck. So sitting just relaxed on the edge of your seat and holding the knees. Just make the back long, the neck long, like a crane. And we're going to just bend forward. So with the straight back, bending forward. And then you curve the back. So you curve the lumbar, lower back, and then you roll up. So you roll up. So the head is last. So tucking in the chin. And then again, coming down with the straight back. And then rolling up the spine. So it's a really good relaxing massage for the spine. Coming down and curling the spine up. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, exhale. And making sure you're smiling into the spine. Good. And rocking. So just on your sitting bones, just rocking side to side. Small movement first in the coccyx and sacrum at the base of the spine. So wagging your tail and smiling into the spine. Good. And you feel like this swimming dragon or this swimming snake coiling up the spine. So the vibration from the base of the spine works its way up to the top. Just nice and relaxed. Feeling warm in the spine. Remembering to smile, relax the eyes. Good. Now we can come to the organs. So you smile down, first in the brain, then smile down the throat. And smiling into the heart. So we learn to make a connection in the heart. So we send this inner smile, smiling into the heart. You hold the image of the heart, send this smiling energy. And then when you send this smiling intention into the organ, then the organ smiles back. So just as you smile to a person, then you receive the smile back. So it's an exchange. We learn to treat all of the organs like their own beings, which actually they are, they're their own beings. And if you don't treat these beings well, if you don't acknowledge them, just like if you don't acknowledge a loved one, there's not going to be a very good relationship there. So smile inwardly to the heart. And you feel more love, joy, and happiness. And this heart has a special radiating power. So it radiates its loving energy. And then we smile into the spleen, the stomach, and the pancreas, which is on the left-hand side under the rib. And if you like the inner smile practice, then it's always good to learn what the organs look like, their location. So you smile into the spleen, stomach, and pancreas. And by sending this relaxed, smiling, happy energy, we start to relax the organs. And cultivating more openness, fairness, and trusting energy in the spleen, stomach, and pancreas. You really learn to make the connection to the organ. So the earth element, feeds the metal, which is the lungs. So you just smile into the lungs. Breathe nice and deeply. Feel the lungs, all of the lungs. And we're cultivating courage, righteousness, integrity, and just a good, relaxed feeling in the lungs. Good. The next organs are the kidneys. So rub your hands together. Want to create some nice warmth and chi in the hands. And then you cover the kidneys, which are midway down the back. The kidneys towards the back. And make a connection. So smile inwardly, connecting to your kidneys. One kidney on the left, one on the right. They're about the size of your ears. And when you smile into the kidneys, we're creating more gentleness, calmness, and peace. It's a beautiful, peaceful energy in the kidneys. And the kidneys, and the water element feeds the liver, the wood element, which is on the right-hand side under the right rib cage. Liver's quite a big organ, can hold a lot of stress. So smiling into the liver, make a connection. And scan the liver, so feel what's there. Whenever you go into an organ, it's good to have a sense of any heaviness, stagnation, or blockage, which you might experience as a tightness or feeling of heaviness. And you can just smile away the heaviness. Like that process, always the smiling sunshine turns the ice into the water, water into gas. So smiling into the liver and cultivating more kindness and generosity. And then finally, so the liver and the wood feeds the fire. So we come back to the heart and just feel more love, more joy, gratitude, appreciation, and compassion. And just feel the heart's radiating power into all of the organs and every cell in the body. So you just feel every cell alive in your body. This is your chi, your life force energy. So just relax the body. Feel the aliveness. Okay, so thank you everyone for following this. So it's like a very, very brief introduction to the inner smile practice